What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Grow, Live, Dream. I'm your boy, LeVar Robinson, and this is my brother T. Hutton, the motivator. And today we're going to be talking about how you do everything is how you do everything. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing really good today. It's been another good day. Been on the phone, on these Microsoft team calls, talking about leadership and development and just across the board, man. It's been a really good day.
Absolutely amazing. I wish I was on that call right there. You know me. I love those calls. I love talking about leadership and developing, because at the end of the day, you got to know how to lead yourself, right? And the more you know how to lead yourself, the more you can help other people. And that starts with development as well. So I wish I was on that call. I'm pretty sure it was pretty dope.
Yes, sir. It was definitely a great call, man. And just, working with someone and we're talking about developing a curriculum. So that was really cool, man. And looking forward to being able to develop the curriculum, help institute the curriculum. Is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
we will definitely get pulled in on it.
I can't wait. All right, guys. So listen, let me go ahead and do a little house rules, guys. We appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure that you comment on what we're talking about. Make sure you're liking and sharing this live, right? Because in order for us to build and get to where we need to go to be able to touch the people that we need to touch, right? We need your help. All right. So today we're talking about how you do everything is how you do everything, right? People tend to give I'm gonna say it like this: people tend to half-ass things, right? And then they move on to something else and do the exact same thing over there, and they wonder why they're getting the same result. It happens over and over again, regardless of whether you're in one business, moving to another business, one relationship, moving to another relationship. If you don't start doing that audit, if you don't start changing some of those things up here, right, personally developing yourself, you're gonna continue getting the same result. Have you seen people do stuff like that, T. Hud?
Man, we call it rehearsal performance.
Rehearsal performance. Okay.
So whatever you are rehearsing in your life, whatever you are consistently rehearsing, it's interesting when you look at it like that. But they say that Shakespeare called it the stage of life. And what happens is oftentimes when we're off that stage, we are rehearsing for what we're going to perform to the outside world. So it's the things that we're rehearsing in the dark, whether it's the things that we say or the activities we do. And what happens is oftentimes we build bad muscle memory. Let me say it like this. You go to the gym and you're lifting weights. And each time you lift the weights, you see yourself lifting the weights and you're like, yeah, I'm doing it, but you're not getting any growth from it. And the reason is because you're doing it wrong. And then you move on to the next exercise and you do it wrong, and you do the next exercise wrong, and the next exercise wrong, and you're building bad muscle memory. And the problem that happens when you build bad muscle memory is that you never truly get the benefits for doing the activity. And I think that's what you're talking about, LeVar. Is how you do it in this area is how you do everything. So if you're half-assing this portion of life, you're probably half-assing some other portions of life. And that's just the reality of it, because how you rehearse is how you're going to perform.
This is 110% right. So if you found yourself failing at something or not giving your all on something and then going and doing the same thing in another area of life, that's the reason why we're talking to you right now. Because the goal is for us to start really doing a true audit of what we are doing, what we're doing wrong. Like when you go through something, go through a particular scenario, you should always be in the mix of learning anyway, right? You should always be going through things and learning, like what went right there? What went wrong? What could I have done differently? What could other people have done differently as well? But you should always be knowing that any situation that you go through is a situation to learn. It's a situation to better yourself so that you don't continue making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. We see people doing that all the time, right? Everybody, you'll get some information that you need, and instead of utilizing that information, you do this, you revert and do the same thing that you just learned not to, right? But you never really took it in, right? And what I like to say when you're looking at that is this: your learned experience is super important. And when I say by your learned, I mean that the experience that you get when you actually execute what you're learning.
I like to look at it like this. if you're watching live and you've ever bought a book and then put it on the bookshelf, you bought a book because you knew it was something you need. You knew it was something that would benefit you, something you wanted to read, but you haven't read it. You bought it,
Uh-huh.
you put it on the bookshelf. And I joke with people all the time. I say, you know, one of the worst things about a library is just it's free information. So
Mhm.
oftentimes we would check out books, take them home, and they would just sit there. Sometimes they didn't even make it out the car in the house. They would just
Mm.
sit there till it was time for them to be due to go back.
Mm.
You know, some of the worst things you can do is imagine this. You check out a book from the library, or let's say you rent a movie, or you know, a movie that you feel like is going to really be beneficial for you. And then you don't watch it day one. You don't watch it day two. Day three is due back. Day three, you don't return it. Day four, you don't
Mm.
return it. Day five, you don't return it. Not only are you not getting the information, but now you're being penalized financially. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a
Mm.
late fee. You're being penalized financially for not doing what you knew you should have done to benefit you. See, some had the opportunity to benefit you in a positive way, but because of your lack of action, you're allowing it to benefit you in a negative way. And I say
Mm.
benefit you because you should learn from your failures.
Right, right. And you know the interesting thing about what you just said, the interesting thing is this, like no matter regardless of whether it's a negative impact or a positive impact, it's an impact, right? So do you see it very often where there's individuals that are not doing what they need to do? You said that there's a cost. That means there's always a cost. Have you seen that before?
I always see a cost associated. It really doesn't matter what it is. Like you said, whether it's a positive impact or a negative impact. I'll say it like this. We joke about this because we the type of people that do it, but we go to a conference, right? You pay this money to go to a conference. You pay $500, $1,000, $1,500 to go to a conference, or maybe you pay $99 to go to a conference. It's an introductory conference. And then you go in there and you sit there and you didn't bring a notepad, no pen. I'm like looking at the people around me and they like, man, I wish I had an ink pen. I'm like, you came to this conference without an ink pen? You didn't come ready to learn? Like, how do you expect to retain everything that you're going to hear today? Like, there's a cost associated because you either paid to learn or you paid to not learn. But there's a cost associated. It may cost you more to not be prepared than to be prepared.
It may cost you more to not be prepared than to be prepared, right? So, you know, when we're talking about these particular costs right here, this is really important because if you don't fix the things you need to fix, that cost can be huge. It can be monumental. That cost can be you not making sure that your babies get the life that they deserve. That cost can be you not getting where you need to go and being upset at yourself, right? That cost can be so many different things that are going to be even bigger than you just doing what you need to do and go ahead and getting there. Doing what you need to do and making sure that it happens. Right? We got to do better. We got to make sure we do better and looking at these things, because if we don't, we could continue running into walls, right? It's like running into a brick wall, backing up, and then running into the brick wall again. After a while, I would like for you to say, that ish hurt. It hurt. It hurt. So are these things hurting you bad enough to where you're ready to stop doing those same things over and over and over again? Over again. If you run into a scenario where you're trying to win at a particular business, or you're trying to win at a win in relationships or whatever it may be, or you can continue making those same mistakes and then getting upset at yourself, I say, hey, look, give yourself grace, but fix what you need to fix so you don't continue making the same mistake.
I remember being at a church service one time and the pastor did something amazing. You remember those old desks, the one that kind of slant to the back, had the little slant on the desk? He had one of those and he used it as a prop. And he says, what happens in life oftentimes is this, is that we'll take a test right here in this moment in our life. And then we'll fail that test. And thinking that because we failed that we just moved on from it. No, what happens is we'll move to another place and have to take that same test again. See what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? When we say, how are you doing? Everything is how you're doing everything, because you might fail this test in this area of life. And then you think you're just going to pick up and go somewhere else. And you have to take that same test. It may not be exactly the same people you're taking the test with. It might not be at the same location you're taking the test with, but you're taking the same test. Let's look at it like this. You said you wanted to develop your patience, But then you had your kids and your kids tested your patience, you failed there. You went to work and then your subordinates tested your patience and you failed there. And then you moved on and you went somewhere else and they tested your patience in traffic and you failed there. And what happens is you keep failing the same test because how you do everything is how you do everything.
So, you know, it was something that happened when I was younger. I was in the 5th grade, right? So we're talking about compounding knowledge, right? No matter what we do, there's something is compounding either for you or against you, right? So when I was in 5th grade, I was in Denver, Colorado. I swear, it felt like the teacher might have passed away or something. But for like the majority of the year, we didn't have a teacher. We watched movies for like the majority of the year. Now, keep in mind, we understand how school goes, right? So in school, you learn. The next grade, you add on to that for the most part. The next grade, you add on to that. For the next grade, you add on to that. That's how it's supposed to go, right? I ain't learned a whole lot that year, okay? I ain't learned a whole lot that year at all. So when I went to the next grade, which they passed me, right? Now, I ain't gonna lie, it was a fun year watching movies. But that next year, I realized how much I didn't know. Right. And I was behind. And what I didn't know compounded. Wait a minute. Let me say that again. What I didn't know compounded. What I didn't learn compounded. Right. And the next year I failed. I failed. Right. Because it was compounded. Just like knowledge can compound against you, it can compound for you. So if you see the things that you're doing, right? If you're looking at your life and every time you do something, it don't work, you got to start looking in the mirror, because how you do everything is how you do everything. You can't just decide to move to another place. Because keep in mind, I was in Denver, Colorado. I ended up coming back to Leesville, Louisiana that next year. Right. So just because I changed and came back, it didn't mean meaning that what I didn't learn before didn't hunt me.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear what I just said? It's still hunting me. That means that right now, when you have the ability to learn, you got to learn what you need to learn right now, because tomorrow may be when you need to utilize what you just learned today. And if you don't know that, if you never learned that, you're going to end up going through what we call cycles. How many of you guys that are watching right now have been through cycles until you learned what you need to learn, or until you ended up getting it, then you were able to move forward? If you have went through cycles like that in your life, I want you to go ahead and put a 2 in the chat. Don't just watch us, guys. Go ahead and jump in the box with us. We enjoy you guys being here once again. Make sure that you share. Make sure that you like. Make sure that you comment, right? Because getting in the mix with us is what we're here for. We absolutely love you guys. Go ahead, Tia.
When I think about this, when I really start to dig down deep into like how you do everything is how you do everything, I just want to challenge the viewers, those who are watching live and those who will watch in the future, is to ask yourself, how do I do things? To really take an account about your life, to really take a audit of your life and say, okay, well, in this area of my life, I do everything like this. Well, why don't I do everything like this in the other area of my life? So like when I'm thinking about the way I monitor and maintain a diet, why don't I do the same thing with my workout plan?
Wait a minute.
And if I can hold myself accountable on this hand, why can't I hold myself accountable on this hand? When I look at my finances, if I can look at my finances and say I got a budget and this is what my budget look like for my finances, why can't I budget my time? Because see, when you do it one way and you do it really well, because some people, let me tell you this, LeVar, some people are very good with managing their finances, but they have poor time management. They're both numbers. What's going on here? Like, you have to actually be intentional. The same intention that you put in your finances, you need to put into your time.
Oh man, listen. Something just crossed my mind and I wanted to say it. I need everybody to hear what I'm about to say. We've all heard of selective memory. I think a lot of you guys are suffering with selective power. You're suffering with selective power, right? You wouldn't even realize how powerful you are, right? See, those things in which you're comfortable doing, you like, I'm powerful here. But as soon as it becomes uncomfortable, as soon as it's something you're not used to, it's selective. You have selective power. Listen, y'all guys you're overly powerful. You're overly powerful. Anything that you want to do, you have the ability to do it. But you want to talk yourself out of it. I was just talking to my mentor, and I thought it was so amazing how people will take all of the negative stuff that they think about themselves, all the negative stuff that people think about themselves, but they won't take the power, the positive things that people think. You'll be like, man, you are absolutely amazing. You'll be like, I'm all right. But people be like, man, you suck. In the back of your mind, you be like, man, maybe it might be right. So quick. Selective power. Oh my God. Listen, we got to stop suffering through this selective power, y'all. It's crazy.
I think one of the reasons why I'm gonna give them a slight out, and
Go
it's
ahead, man.
kind of
Give
a
them out,
challenge.
man.
Watch this, but it's kind of a challenge because I think that the reason why they suffer from selective power is because they don't really dig down and do any personal mining. See, the reason why why what I'm saying, the reason why you're suffering from selective power is because you're not mining yourself. You're not digging down inside of yourself saying, okay, whether this power exists. Because see, the thing is not the fact that you don't have the power, it's the fact that you don't realize you have the power. So it's selective because it's there. You just have selected not to go get it. Selective not to find it. Selective not to look. You're so much beneath the core. And this is in the real world, and so it is in yourself. Like there's so much beneath the core that can be tapped into. So many different types of power that can be tapped into. There's power all around you. Let's think we think about it like this. When we think about sustainable energy, you have fossil fuel, which lies deep down within the core, but then you have that external power, like the green energy that everybody's excited about. And that's from the outside, right? But let's be honest. Before we got to this point where we were ready for green energy, we had to dig down inside to get to the fossil fuel. That's been laying beneath the surface.
That's right.
Fossil fuels come from fossils.
Right.
Something that was once alive that was now dead. But it was able to be repurposed and reused. What do you have that you've been hiding in the dark for so long that has transformed to a power that you don't even know exists?
You know what? Let me go here. Right. This is for my believers, because so many of us have heard 1 billion times that we were made in his image. But in the same sentence, you might be like, I can't do it. In the same sentence, in the same conversation, in the same mindset, in the same day, in the same week, in the same year, be like, I can't do it. Did you not just say you were made in his image? We were made in his image. That means that you are all powerful. That means that you are all powerful. That means that you're making a decision. I'm going out there to get it. And you're making a decision that you can't. You made the decision that you can go out there and get it. And you're making the decision that you can't. You're making a decision that just because it's hard, that you can continue doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Let me tell you what's going to happen to you. Let me tell you what happens. See, what a lot of people fail to realize is that just because you don't change, just because you're not doing what you need to do, don't mean that other people ain't paying attention to what you keep doing. You're wanting people to see you as that powerhouse, but they keep seeing you fail. They keep seeing you let yourself down, is what I mean. Failing ain't bad. But they keep seeing you let yourself down. They keep seeing you going in a cycle over and over and over again. He ain't even changed. He doing the same thing over and over again. Every time he starts something, he quit. But you want people to get on board with you.
Yeah.
You want people to believe in what you believe. You only believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, if you believe you meant to do something special, go ahead and step outside your comfort zone and put a 7 in the chat. Let me get some fire emojis. See, let me get something in the chat to show that you guys are feeling what we talk about right now. Right? I'm not talking to those people that are scared to tell the universe what they need, scared to tell the universe they about their business, scared to be in agreement with God. I ain't talking to anybody else other than those people. Those are people who I'm talking to. I'm talking to those people that are like, look, I hear exactly what you're saying, yo. I hear exactly what you're saying. Let me put these 7s in this chat because I'm about to change some things. Go ahead, Tia.
You know, you said something that jumped off at me, and I was just like, wow, like I don't even know you. I don't know if you heard it. I don't know if you heard it. You made a point about people are watching you, right? So I joke with people all the time. You have 2 options. Either you're going to be the example or you're going to be the example. Either you're going to be the example of what people want to be, or you're going to be the example of people like that. I'm definitely not going to be like that person. So either you're the person who are setting the example and people want to be like you, or they're looking at you and saying, man, this person keeps taking the same test over and over and they're changing nothing. They're asking themselves, is this person that layman's definition of insane? Or is he crazy because he keep doing the same thing? He's not changing anything. Like literally, you ran into that wall with the same speed, at the same angle, at the same time each day. You just kept hitting it at 12 a.m. Just boom, boom, boom. It's like, well, maybe if you come back, that might actually be a gate there at 1. Like, just wait a little while, show up a little later, show up a little early, get there at 11. Like, see, what happens is you have to be willing to learn and make changes. Adaptability, let me say it like this. I like adaptability, but I really want to say a different word because I really want you to get this. Evolve. Adaptability is cool. You adapt to the situation in the moment, but if you don't evolve, you cease to exist.
What? Hey, look, listen, while we're sitting here, I want to give a shout out to Albrina, a shout out to Samaria, a shout out to Letitia, a shout out to Devron, and a shout out to anybody else that's watching right now because you took the time out your schedule to get on here, to get in the trenches with us, to get in the comments, and to put your stamp on this live. Put your stamp on this show. We appreciate you. See, listen, right now, we have to be in the mix to evolve. We have to be in the mix to say, you know what? It's time, and I have to make that decision or to be able to do what I need to do, because if I don't evolve, I'm continue going through this cycle. We know we continue going through storms until we decide to make a change, until we decide to do something different, until we decide that we better. Right? We know that people will never achieve how far where they're looking to go until they make a decision that, you know what, now is that time. Now is that time to do something special in my life. Now is the time to actually separate myself from the pack and not be like everybody else. I don't want to continue doing everything, knowing that how I do everything is how I do everything, and it be the negative side. I want it to be how I do everything is how I do everything, is because everything I do, I go hard in it. Everything I do, I go hard. When I say I'm going to do it, I put my all into it. When I say I'm going to do something for somebody, I do it. When I wake up in the morning and say I'm going to do something, I do it. When it's time for me to move to that next level in my life, I put every bit of my energy. If I said I want to write an ebook, I make sure I put time aside in my day, every single day, to do it. See, the intensity that you do, the intensity that you go about what you're trying to do in your life, that's going to decide whether you get there or not. Y'all heard me. Whether you get there or not. Listen, y'all know my favorite number is 7. If you're watching and you're committed to get to the next level in your life, I need some fire emojis, see some 7s in the chat. Go ahead, Tion.
Look, it's simple. When you get down to it, at the end of the day, it's a decision that you make with self. It's something that you sit down with, in a conversation you have with self. Don't get me wrong. The universe is going to be there. The universe is going to respond to the decision and agreements that you have with yourself. What's that first agreement? What's the agreement that you have with yourself and you wake up in the morning? What's the agreement that you have with yourself when you start to look out there at the world and say, okay, this is what I want from the world? Like, are you going to go out there with energy? Are you going to get up and live your life and live your best life possible? Because the problem is, if you're going to half-ass any part of your life, you're going to half-ass all of it. Let's just call it what it is. Like, here's the thing. If you're excited about life, you got to be excited about the ups and the downs. Look, watch this. I say it like this. I had a young man I'm talking to, life coaching. He stays out in Irving. And I told him, he said, man, things just seem to be sliding down. Things seem to be bad. I said, well, boy, that's the best part of the roller coaster. He said, well, what you mean? I say, when you on the roller coaster and it's ticking up, so that's when you're fluttering, you're nervous and stuff like that. But when the roller coaster comes down, that's the best part of the roller coaster. Life is like a roller coaster. You got to enjoy the whole ride. You can't enjoy parts of the ride. You got to enjoy the whole ride. Sometimes you got to hold on tight, and sometimes you lower your hands in the air and you scream, and you scream out of enjoyment. But you got to enjoy the whole ride. That's how life is. Life has some ups, life has some downs. But unless you're willing to enjoy the whole ride with the same level of excitement, what's the point of getting on the ride? Because oftentimes we've been waiting in line for so long to get on this ride of life that there's things we've been waiting on. We want this career so bad. We've been waiting so long to get this career. Then as soon as we get it, we like, oh, well, it wasn't what I expected it to be. You wanted this job. You wanted this money. You wanted this house. You wanted this car. You wanted all these things, and then you get them, and then it's not what you thought it was going to be. You lose the excitement behind it. Here's the thing. I used to work in sales. I tell everybody, you want this car, guess what? You can get it, but you got to pay for it. You're excited to get it, but you're not excited to pay for it. You better be excited about every part of it.
Hey man, I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting here on cloud nine. Really, I just feel like we touching somebody. I feel like somebody needed to hear this, because you know, at the end of the day, we fail to realize that when things keep going the same way, instead of just getting into the woe is me side of the house, I want you to start looking in the mirror. Start looking in the mirror and say, you know what? Yeah, this keep happening this particular way. What can I do to fix it? What can I do to make that massive change in my life? What can I do? What will I do? Right? Because if you don't do it, you're going to continue getting what you're getting. You're going to continue getting what you're getting. We're wondering why our minds are not growing the way they need to. And we're not even looking at throughout our day and seeing where our information is coming from. What you tune into, you turn into. What you tune into, you turn into. We keep tuning into everything that's not building our mind instead of tuning to those things that are. Not only just those things, but those people that are. Doing everything in your power to make sure that you get around the people that you need to. I was talking to my brother. And I was saying, you know, it's interesting. What's interesting is a lot of people fail to realize that sometimes it's just as simple as going online and finding different conferences that are going to be in your area and paying to go to that conference to be around like-minded people, because we already know that most people won't pay to go to a conference. We know most people won't pay to be around other like-minded people. Why? Because they're comfortable being uncomfortable. They're comfortable being uncomfortable. I hope y'all just heard what I just said. You already just did something that most people won't do. It could be just as simple as saying, you know what? Let me go somewhere where most people not willing to go. Most people won't go. Let me go to an art show. Let me go somewhere where there's a certain type of individual there, so I can start surrounding myself around people that are lovers of life, surrounding myself around people that are lovers of things, surrounding myself around people that want to go get somewhere. I hope y'all just heard what I just said, because I just gave y'all a massive nugget. I just gave you some massive nuggets to be able to put yourself around the right types of individuals, people that are going to help you change your life. Because if you don't have those people, that means you need to really get away from those people that are giving you the wrong type of information. See, once again, what you tune into, you turn into. So if everybody you around that you're tuning into are people that ain't going nowhere in their life, don't you get mad at yourself when you're not getting to where you need to go. Because you knew after you got off this live of Grow Live Dream, after this show of Grow Live Dream with T. Hutton the Motivator and LeVar Robinson, when he said, what you tune into, you turn into, you knew it was your decision. T. Hutton, close it out, brother.
Look, how you do everything is how you do everything. I liked it when LeVar was speaking and he made a shift. And I don't even know if you caught it. He shifted from saying what you can do to what you will do to change it. Because see, that's the thing is, there's a lot of us who have the ability to do stuff. We can do a lot, but it's what are we willing to do? What will we do to change how it ends? What will we do to rewrite tomorrow? See, you can't rewrite yesterday, but you can rewrite tomorrow, because see, tomorrow is being written right now in this moment. You can change the energy you put into it. You can change the way that the day ends. You can make sure that you put in what's required from you to get the results that you require. So I ask you, are you willing to make the change? Are you going to do what it takes from you to reach the goals that you want to reach?
I am.
I'm definitely am. And we want to see everyone else be willing to do so also. So let's make sure we get out there today and we start making it happen now. When you close out of this live, get out the pen and paper, write down what it is you need to change and implement it in that moment. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next year. Don't wait till New Year's. Your New Year's just happened at 2:31 Eastern Standard Time. Let's get it going. Have a great day, and thanks for tuning in to Grow, Live, Dream. See you soon.